All right. So, let me make a note here. Just making a note for future Scotty TV. So Species 3, a movie that is very confusing. I'm very conflicted about it. The first half of this film is not very good to me. The first part of this film does a lot of retconning of the first two films, and it's very confusing. And then once Robert Nepper's character dies, and it focuses on Dean and Sarah, everything just seems to just get better for me. Like, maybe because it ramps up the action and stuff, but it just seems to be a better movie. So let's just start off with this. This movie is supposed to take place right after the events of 2. Alright? So we pick up, first of all, we see this footage narrated by some woman. Could be Sarah, could be Amelia, I'm not exactly sure. I think maybe it was Amelia. But narrates that aliens have been to Earth before, and they came to Earth because of the nuclear weapons we were using. Okay, and then we get to the retconning. So that's part of the retconning too. That aliens been here before. Didn't they say in the first movie that that message was the first contact they ever had with aliens? And you know, the aliens that came to Earth might not have necessarily made contact with humans, just lived in secrecy, I guess. But I don't know. So we then pick back up with the military ambulance truck, and it's now nighttime. That presents a problem. But we see Robert Nepper is driving it, and there's another guy, and the guy keeps asking Robert Nepper who he is, if they've met before, if he's new there, you know, because he doesn't recognize him. And then there's some noise going on in the back, and he starts to call into someone, and Robert Nepper pulls out a gun. His name is Abbott, by the way, Professor Abbott. Pulls out a gun. The half-breed boy from the end of the last one breaks through and kills the passenger. So Abbott goes to the back, and he finds our only appearance of Natasha Henstridge playing Eve. Before this, though, he does have some dialogue where he talks about the events of the first two films, but he makes it sound as if he's talking about one singular person. Because they're talking about Eve, who's laying in the back, you know, the dead body or whatever. And he starts talking about the destruction she caused, but they're showing clips from the first film, interspliced with clips from the second film. No, that's not how it works. Just because she was played by the same actress does not mean she was the same character or even has the same consciousness. Eve was a clone of Syl. Two separate entities with two separate strands of DNA. They even say that Eve had her alien side suppressed for most of her life, most of the time. So, yeah, she still had some of her alien DNA, but not, you know, to go out and bang every dude like her predecessor. And he also says later to Dean, 3 generations of alien DNA. No, that's not how it works. Syl and Eve are not mother and daughter. They're sisters. Genetically the same in every single way, except for they're not mother and daughter. It's not 3 generations. They're sisters. It doesn't work that way. You can't clone me and say, oh, this is my son. No, he would look just like me. To me, he would be it would be more like he's my twin brother, right? But yeah, everything that Abbott says in this film doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so so here's the thing. When Abbott gets back there, he finds the pregnant Eve. She has not given birth. Let me remind you, it's nighttime. It was daytime when the last movie ended, and we saw the stomach was going up. And we saw in the previous two films that once someone gets pregnant with an alien baby, right away, instantaneously, it happens like that. So I doubt she was laying in there for hours, writhing in pain, and they couldn't hear her, and it's now dark. No, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. You know what else makes no sense? The government in this. So they find the body of of Eve and have it burned. They don't think of calling in the people who have dealt with this twice. There's no reason given by why they don't bring Press and Laura back. Oh, they're busy. Oh, they said no. Oh, they're done with this shit. Nothing. There's no reason. There's just this new guy, Wasash, or whatever the hell his name is. Kind of like a weird sauce, but yeah. And so we find that Abbott is keeping the girl, which he names Sarah, off of a Sara Lee pie, in his basement and doing experiments, making sure everything's okay. And one day when he's gone, she grows up, becomes an adult, and starts to go out to find the male persuasion. He also finds the half-breed in his office at the university, now an adult and now dying from some illness, which they don't really explain. They just say that they succumb to human illnesses. So he had a cold and now he's dying, and I don't understand that. But yes, he allows Sarah to roam free, searching for a mate, because apparently she is a perfect specimen created from two half-human alien hybrids that no human is good enough. There's only one problem about this. At this point, I mentioned this at the same time because he's talking to this alien human hybrid who was dying, this half-breed who's dying, and he asks, are the others, is it happening to the others? And I went, what others? What others? All the other half-breeds were destroyed by Press and Laura and Dennis in the last one. Except for the one that was in the ambulance. To be a cliffhanger for this movie. There is none left. But you have to remember, they said at the beginning of this film, that aliens have been coming to Earth for decades. So there's other human hybrids, and that's the bullshit excuse they give us. This little, most likely tacked on thing at the beginning of the film that explains there are other human hybrids living among us. But because I'm sitting here going over scheduling stuff, and I heard him say, what about the others? And I went, what others? There's no others. There's only one left. Apparently, that is not true. So, we meet Dean and his roommate Hastings, who does come back in later in the second half of the film, because they realize, they need someone else to be an ally to him, and they gave him two allies. But Dean is played by Robin Dunn, who is in the, I believe to be underrated Skulls 2, and the sci-fi movie Sanctuary. Did I mention this is a sci-fi movie by the Sci-Fi Channel? Just saying. That being said, the effects in this aren't that bad. There's some bad CGI stuff, but overall, it's not too bad. So, Sarah's nightly excursions had attracted another half-breed who she meets at a hotel and begins to have sex with. Yeah, they don't even mess with the nudity in this one. There's just nudity. For the sake, it's gratuitous, dude. There's just nudity all over the place. So she starts to have sex with this dude, and she realizes he's got the illness, or an illness. So she leaves, and the tooth falls out. So he got leprosy? I'm guessing? I don't know. But he does eventually show up at Abbott's house, having followed her there. And he kills Abbott. And they kill the half-breed. And then the movie changes. Because now we get an exposition dump. Because Hastings has been communicating with someone named Amelia. And he sent her all of the data that Dean had in his notebooks and stuff on what he was doing with Abbott. So now she's become interested. I should also mention the failing power plant that Dean works at for some reason. Because they need something cool for the climax of this film. Go figure. So we then meet Amelia, who's on a road trip in a car with no top. Man, we gotta slam your doors. Anyway, she's on a trip. She stops at a gas station. She goes into the gas station to look at her stuff, and she decides to take her entire top off and look at. She's got so everyone else is getting sick and dying, and she has skin rash on her body, which isn't that bad. The guy filling up her gas tank decides, I'm gonna go in and get me some. So he goes into the gas station bathroom to nail this chick. She does him, kills him, takes off. She never gets pregnant. So did he not finish? Is she sterile? I don't think she is, because her whole thing is about creating perfect beings so she can give birth to a perfect being. I don't know. But maybe he didn't finish. She just killed him. But she shows up at the college and finds Hastings. And she's like, is there somewhere I can clean up? And this is where it's the most gratuitous thing. She goes to the shower room. She walks down the hallway butt naked. There's no one else in the hallway at this time, and the room is just down the hall, but come on. It's a gratuitous nude shot for gratuitous nude shot sake. And so she starts to grill him, and she realizes that he's an idiot and he's not the one who came up with the data. He starts saying it was fake. He made it up. She's like, it's not fake. He's like, it is fake. And then Dean happens to show up. He goes to hide. We get a off-screen death of one of the school people. And I thought he was going to... I really thought this was going to go. I'm like, okay, here's what's going to happen. He's going to open a door, holding the bat. Someone's going to walk down the hallway, see him standing there, holding the bat with a bloody body under him. He's going to get taken to jail. We're going to have this whole, But no, that's not what happened. He gets out of there. By the way, if you pay attention, because he goes down one way of the hallway to look, and he runs back down the hallway where the body is. But as he's running, the body is gone. Oops. Didn't go fast enough for me to not notice that, did you? I noticed it. There's no body. He just runs right through. Goes downstairs, and that's where we see Special Agent Wasatch, or whatever the hell his name is, who works for the government and is connected to Project Athena. So from what I can discern is that they mentioned Fitch by name, by the way. Even though Fitch's experiment didn't work, they even mentioned the whole thing where he tried to make pure Athene. Because that's a part of this. So, from what I can discern, from what I can figure out, Maybe they continued the project after the first one failed, and now this is still 1998, though. Uh, there are more half breeds out there because of this. I think I'd buy the first, how they just become an Earth and procreate with humans. This whole time makes more sense to me. I don't know if they're trying to make sense of what they were trying to tell us in this first half. I don't know. But, so this is what really confuses me. So, Dean has Sarah's eggs because Abbott took them out. He's got like a thermos. And so when Amelia shows up, automatically Sarah's on the same page with her. They want the perfect mate, and they're going to have Hastings do it. But Dean, quit slamming your doors. Dean takes the eggs and lures them to the power plant with Hastings and Wasatch in tow. I'm just going to call him W, with Hastings and W in tow. And he turns on the core. It's going to melt down. And there's a fight. It's magnetic. And they showed Sarah turns into a monster. Or the creature, and I'm like, oh, another one of these. Because the last two... Okay, so something that I've noticed in the last two that really bugged me is when the climax starts, they go into creature mode. And the first one wasn't that bad because it was humans hunting the creature. But the second one, you had some yelling. But it's basically this creature, and you get no dialogue. Just creature fighting creature. You get no dialogue other than our heroes yelling, "Help me," or something like that. Here, you have Sarah as the creature, and then when Amelia shows up, she's only partially turned because we get dialogue from her. And the eggs get knocked into the core, and there's a fight, and Amelia gets thrown into the core, and then Sarah falls down. He's got to close the thing, so we see him close it. And you think it's all over, right? Saving the day. And you see W on TV with some bullshit excuse. And, Hastings comes in and says, "Oh, doctor says you're going to be fine." Excuse me. No. You can't just brush this off. He was in a power plant. Power plants have nuclear cores. He was in the same room with the nuclear core for a good amount of time. He's going to have some kind of nuclear infection or something. He has 3 arms, something. And that's going to brush it off. But we then cut to Hastings going to Abbott's house and finding a boy. He freaks out, turns around, and we see Sarah still alive. He runs downstairs, and they make it look like Dean is tied up, but he's really taking apart stuff. And he explains through flashback. I'm glad they put that in there because I would have called bullshit. Yeah, I still call bullshit because they show him saving Sarah, but that's not what we saw. She fell in, and he shut the thing instantaneously. She was nowhere to be seen. So they saved their ass because they're like, "Oh, wait, Sarah's dead. We need an ending." So instead, she's alive, and he created this boy with perfect DNA to be a perfect mate for her. Different DNA because you can't mate with someone with their own DNA, so there's that. And Hastings has a concern that everyone would have. You just doomed us, pal, and he's like, "Don't worry, I made him sterile." They're like 10 feet away from them when he says this. I can't believe either one of them didn't hear it. I never said he was fertile, so he's sterile. The first thing he did was make sure the chromosomes were gone, so he cannot so that he's sterile. There's just one problem with that. Sarah would be able to sense that as soon as he reached adulthood and would reject him right away. We established in the first two films that they can sense when something is wrong with someone they're going to mate with. So as soon as, they got, maybe she hasn't sensed it yet, but as soon as they go to copulate, she will sense it and she will kill him. Or he will kill her, or they will both get pissed and kill Dean. Either way, it doesn't look like a good outcome. But I'm glad they addressed the concern with this. But then even Hastings says, what happens if they find out? He's like, come on, I'll get you breakfast. I'm like, no, don't shake it off. But the second half of this film was a lot better. Going into this, watching the first half, I was ready to give this a fry in hell. But with the second half being better than the first, I have to say that it wasn't bad. Especially since Robert Knepper's not bad. See him in Prison Break. It's fantastic. But when Robin Dunn took over, it got better for me. I found him more compelling as a leading man because he was more sympathetic. Abbott was a selfish person who just wanted to win a Nobel Prize. Dean cared. He was trying to help. And that's what made me like him better. And the second half was better because of that. So, due to that, I'm going to have to say that when it comes to Species 3, it sits firmly in the middle of the road. So what are your thoughts on Species 3? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one. We're going to finish this off with Species of the Awakening. And I don't remember that movie being very good. But we're going to finish it off. Yes. Goodbye.